49ers update. They have signed a quarterback, and I'm happy to bring this one to you from above the Central Valley. It's one of my dad's farms here, just outside of Lindsay, California, those of you in the 559. This is the time of the year that you want to be in this area. We're going to take a walk over here and talk about Josh Dobbs, the 49ers' new signee at quarterback. Dobbs played for the Arizona Cardinals and the Minnesota Vikings last year. He actually started 12 games last season. But we know that the 49ers are product of their experience. John Lynch likes to talk about that a lot. And the experience in 2022 was rather horrid. They lost all of their quarterbacks in 2022. They didn't finish the season with a healthy quarterback. So they found the need to bring in a higher upside backup last year, and it was Sam Darnold, and they paid him $4.5 million. Darnold, through the reputation rehab program that the 49ers were running, was able to make it to the Minnesota Vikings this year for a contract worth $10 million. So now we see Josh Dobbs as his successor at QB2. Remember last week the 49ers re-signed Brandon Allen to be quarterback number 3. So the 49ers have made sure that they have that third quarterback rule available to them, to the emergency QB rule that became possible in the NFL last season. Dobbs, interesting guy. I think we could start with the fact that he played really well for Arizona against the 49ers last year. And they're running a power run first scheme. And he also ran himself a lot in that football game. I think that definitely impressed Kyle Shanahan. And with that in mind, the 49ers were really looking for somebody who could run the offense in practice. Obviously, you have scout team duties as the backup quarterback. You need somebody who has some experience playing in different spots around the league to be able to execute at the level that you need to run a proper practice. I think Kyle Shanahan was comfortable that Josh Dobbs could do all of that kind of stuff at a high level for the San Francisco 49ers. Second, Josh Dobbs has some history with a player who's not currently on the 49ers, but very likely is going to be back with them next season, and that is Jauan Jennings. Dobbs went to Tennessee for college, and Jauan Jennings played receiver at Tennessee when Dobbs was the quarterback. But they had a connection going both ways. Jauan Jennings caught a pass from Josh Dobbs. It's one of the most famous catches in Tennessee college football history. It was a Hail Mary to beat Georgia in 2016. But in that very same season, in fact, it might have been the very same month, they ran a trick play, the Tennessee Volunteers did, and the trick play ended up being Jauan Jennings, who entered Tennessee as a quarterback, throwing a touchdown pass to Josh Dobbs. Now, it was the same exact play that the 49ers ran in the Super Bowl just about a month ago, where Jennings threw a touchdown pass to Christian McCaffrey. So, Josh Dobbs, who played Christian McCaffrey in 2016 on the play that inspired the Super Bowl trick play, Josh Dobbs is now a 49er. Dobbs at Tennessee, by the way, majored in aerospace engineering, and he had an externship at NASA. So the guy is really smart. He's able to pick up playbooks very quickly. He picked up the Titans playbook last year really quickly. He made a start at the end of the season for them. Obviously filled in for Kyler Murray while Murray was still on IR this year, a pup, I guess, technically for Kyler Murray this past season. And then as soon as he showed up in Minnesota, because they had a QB emergency there following the Kirk Cousins injury, he famously led the Vikings to a last-minute touchdown drive to beat, I believe it was the Atlanta Falcons, and that was after only having the playbook for a matter of hours. So again, backup quarterback, you want somebody who's smart, you want somebody who could process, who can emulate different offenses on the scout team, and of course, you want to raise the ceiling just in case there is an injury problem to Brock Purdy. Last year, the 49ers generally avoided injury situations to Brock Purdy. Sam Darnold had to come in a couple times, but his only start was the Week 18 game where the 49ers were resting their first stringers. So they didn't have to dip into the backup QB well. But that's not going to be a given every year. I mean, most quarterbacks, most QB1s in the league miss at least a game. So Josh Dobbs is the 49ers backstop. And I think last year he proved that he could be effective for at least a shorter stretch of time. And that's your goal when you're looking at quarterbacks in the NFL. You want to make sure that you have effectiveness to bridge the gap between playing time if your QB1 gets injured. If your QB1 is lost for the year, it's probably going to be a blow that you can't come back from. But you need to be able to bridge the gap, and that's what the 49ers are hoping for from Josh Dobbs. Those of you joining on the ranch here, That right there is technically not on our property. That place is an abandoned house that I have at one point went and checked out, but I'm not going to check it out on video because I don't want to get in trouble. But they've got a nice view here of the Central Valley. I would say this is 49ers territory. This is the 559. And we can talk about money for Josh Dobbs. By the way, this is spring. I know it's technically still winter, but these hills are green. See the flowers blooming. This is spring in the Central Valley. Really nice. Really nice in California before it gets 105 degrees here in the summer. Money for Josh Dobbs, $2.25 million fully guaranteed, and about $750,000 in playtime bonuses. Because he did play, what was it, 12 starts last year? Most of those bonuses are probably likely to be earned. It's determined to be likely to be earned, LTBE, or not likely to be earned, NLTBE, based on whether or not you accomplished or achieved the bonus the year prior. So in the case of Dobbs, they're likely to be earned, which means they're going to count against the 49ers salary cap. However many games of those incentives he did meet last year will count against this cap. If he doesn't meet those incentives this year, the 49ers will be refunded on the cap for them. So I'm just going through this to illustrate how the cap dynamics work. They'll be refunded by 2025 when they have to pay Brock Purdy, presumably. But in this 2024 season, I am projecting the cap hit for Josh Dobbs to be about $3 million, maybe a little bit more than $3 million. Even if all the incentives for Josh Dobbs count against the cap this season, he'll still be cheaper salary-wise, pay-wise, than Sam Darnold, who cost $4.5 million to the 49ers last year. So Dobbs will be about $3 million. Sam Darnold will be about, was about $4.5 million. Darnold earned the pay raise with the Minnesota Vikings up to $10 million. That's obviously outside of the QB2 budget. So the 49ers are paying Purdy $1 million. That's their QB1 budget. That's the luxury they have this year. They're paying Josh Dobbs about $3 million. And they're paying Brandon Allen about $1.5 million. So Purdy's making the least out of all three 49ers quarterbacks. But that is the luxury the 49ers have, and that's why, you know, the CBA, I don't think is particularly popular with players, especially guys who are outperforming their rookie contracts like Brock Purdy. But just the way it's set up, the 49ers are not allowed to extend Brock Purdy until after his third season. So the quarterback room for the 49ers is set. The theme remains constant. They're really accomplishing a lot here with free agency. The 49ers have checked off need after need after need. I still think there's a need at the safety position with Talanoa Hufanga coming off of the ACL, but they've stocked the defensive line. They've found linebackers, and I say that in plural because there's been more than just one, but Devondre Campbell is the veteran linebacker who they signed to fill that gap if Trey Greenlaw needs some more time to recover. They even signed an offensive lineman today, although that's like, I would say that's Brandon Parker is more of a, I don't want to say camp body, but I do want to say a 90-man roster projection for now, because he's going to have to prove his way onto the 53-man after getting hurt in training camp, going on IR in training camp after each of the past two seasons. The 49ers have also brought back John Feliciano on the offensive line. They've extended Colton McKivitz in a nice cap maneuver that has positioned them to go after bigger time offensive linemen in the draft. And we'll see. I gave you my salary cap report a little bit earlier today. The 49ers might be able to make a big splash to finish free agency with somebody like Justin Simmons. They do have enough money. It's a question of how they want to allocate it. Do they want to carry this money into the regular season instead, where you can also carry it over into 2025? It's all a matter of management over both the short term and the long term. So right now, I'm in the 559. It is beautiful here. This is right above Lindsay, California, Tulare County. This is where I'm from, not this exact parcel of land, but I grew up coming to this spot a lot. You could see all the orange trees over there. This right here doesn't have anything planted at the time being. And then we've got the old abandoned house over here. Might have to fly my drone over that house so we could check it out. So take note of that house. I'll fly the drone over it a little bit later. We'll put it in a different video so you could see the view that whoever used to live in there once had looking across the Central Valley. San Francisco is going to be in that direction. It's going to be northwest of here. Beautiful, beautiful day. This is what it's all about. March, about 75 degrees, and I could talk about the 49ers signing Josh Dobbs to back up Brock Purdy. Dobbs, who threw a touchdown pass to Juwan Jennings that was really famous at college and caught the touchdown pass from Juwan Jennings on a trick play that inspired what the 49ers did in the Super Bowl from Jennings to McCaffrey. Jennings, by the way, is still a restricted free agent. The 49ers have tendered him the second round level, but he hasn't yet signed that tender, but he hasn't signed with anybody else either. So it's likely that Jennings and Dobbs will be reunited with the 49ers, and that should make Tennessee fans very, very happy. What a day. This is awesome. The 49ers today, due to a clerical error, or a series of clerical errors is what the NFL said, in logging payroll for their salary cap, have been docked a 2025 fifth-round pick, which seems like a rather big punishment for the 49ers. They also slipped about 4 spots in the 2024 draft order because of this. The 49ers apologized for the clerical mistake, but they're going to have to move on without a fifth-round pick, which, to me, I mean, you can't, it's not nothing. They picked George Kittle in the 5th round. They picked Talanoa Hufanga in the 5th round. DJ Reed in the 5th round. I mean, good players have come out of the 5th round for the 49ers. So that's tough. That really is tough for San Francisco to lose a 5th-round pick because of that clerical error. And the NFL even said that it wasn't the difference between them being over or under the salary cap in 2022. It didn't make a material difference in the 49ers cap compliance, but it is important to remember too that cap space rolls over from year to year. So it might not have affected the 49ers in 2022, but perhaps, because they've been trying to save money at every single corner of this, perhaps it did help them in 2023 and beyond. I mean, my big salary cap piece today, the main gist of it was that the 49ers are trying to be as financially efficient at every single juncture possible. So who knows? They say it was a clerical error, so if it was just an error, then it wasn't an attempt to be more efficient. But the NFL did punish them rather severely with losing that 5th-round pick. When I know more about that, I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I only have those details for now. So Brandon Parker, part of the 49ers. We talked to Leonard Floyd today for the first time. He has been officially signed. The 49ers should have 18 spots left on their 53-man roster, either 18 or 19. I'm going to go update the roster when I drive back down here, but wanted to give you guys a good look at the valley. Maybe we could go, let's walk down the row here. We could see a few trees. See some orange trees up here at slight elevation. I just love how green it is. The rain season is probably nearing its end in this part of California. I mean, I'm technically in Southern California, and these hills, they start to turn yellow a little bit later on. They turn arid. They don't they don't have that free-flowing water like they do up in Marin County for a lot of the year. Arizona, arid Arizona. All right, we're gonna walk over to the part of this field that has been planted right here. Oh, somebody's recommending Cotija in Los Banos. I know all about Cotija in Los Banos. Some of the best burritos ever. I mean, the mission-style burrito was really developed in the fields out there outside of Los Banos. So they know what they're doing at Cotija in Los Banos. All right, here we go. Right down a row. You know where I want to go? I want to go straight ahead to that patch of green. Looks like the old Windows screensaver in front of me. So the 49ers now have a Stanford grad in Christian McCaffrey, a Harvard grad in Kyle Juszczyk, and they call him the Pastronaut, Josh Dobbs, a rocket scientist, aeronautical engineering at Tennessee, and an externship at NASA. 49ers have one damn smart team. Those three guys. Those guys are accomplished academically, we will say. Somebody was just reminded me of that Pastronaut nickname for Josh Dobbs. All right, I made it to the Windows screensaver, guys. Take a look at this. Now, the cows occasionally graze here, and I think the cows need to do more grazing here. Unfortunately, I don't see them anywhere because the cows would be a good addition to this video. Unfortunately, we don't see any of them. But it is a beautiful day. 15 minutes for Josh Dobbs. I think that about does it. 49ers have their backup quarterback. 49ers are getting stuff done here over the course of free agency. They're setting themselves up to pick some really good players in the draft and to have the flexibility to pick some really good players in the draft. That's going to be it. So long from the beauty of Central California.